In a previous video, I talked about loops, how to use them, how to set them up. Today, I'm going to show you some advanced tips to make you look like a pro, like you know how to do anything with them. So I'm going to give you 3 tips and a bonus, so stay tuned. Our first tip is going to be involving loop filtering. So sometimes you're iterating through some stuff and you don't need to do what you want to do on everything in the array. So for instance, let's say we had a set of numbers 0 to 100. And let's say we only wanted to do something with every third number. All right. So for num in numbers, and we can go, okay, well, if num mod 3 is equal to 0. So if it's a multiple of 3, then we're going to print num is a multiple of 3, right? So we run this, and this works great. There's not really a problem with this, but you kind of start getting nested. Doesn't look as good, and we're going to show you a better way of doing this. I never learn. I never learn. It always is so slow the first launch. All right. So now that finally completed, here we have it. Yep, 90, 99, all these numbers are multiples of 3. But there's a cleaner way to write this. Instead of doing that, we can do where. If we add a where after our iteration, and then we put in our conditional, we can remove this nesting. And that makes your code more legible. And also really clearly indicates what this for loop is doing. We're going to go for the numbers where the number is this. That's what we really are looking to do. And so we can clear our array and run it again. Boom, just like that. And the cool thing about that is that we can do anything. We can do that if it's, as long as we have a Boolean here, we can say where that or num is a multiple of, say 15. Actually, let's make it even more complex. Make it a double and. So it's a multiple of 3 and a multiple of 15. Oh, got to make it a Boolean. All right, so here we go. What are the numbers where it is? We got 15, 30, 45. There you go. So this is a nice little trick to clean up your code and make your intent very clear, which is one of the most important things you can do as a developer. I hope you found that tip useful. If you are, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Our next tip is going to be with dealing with optionals. So sometimes in an array, you might have some optional values. So let's say here in this numbers array, we have numbers and these nil values, and we only want to operate on the non-optionals. You might say to yourself, well, I could just use the where clause. So, hey, let's go do what we did just above and get the optionals out. We're going to filter out the nil value. So we can go for num in optional numbers where num doesn't equal nil. Now we can say, hey, print number. Only this is going to yell at us because number is still an optional value. So it's implicitly coercing from an optional to an any. So we don't like that. So we could add another thing. We could say, well, guard let num else continue. And that would unwrap it. And that's great. It's cool. And then in that case, we could really even delete this because we'll just go through each one. That's nice. That's doing that. But there is an easier, cleaner way. If we use our case let, we can unwrap it at its source, and then we still only have the non-optional, the non-nil values. So this is a cool little thing. It cleans up your code again, makes it very clear, makes it concise, so people know, oh, hey, we're just going to be operating on the non-nil values. So that is tip number 2. All right, now we come to tip number 3, which is one of my favorites. So suppose we had an array of superheroes, and sometimes you need to work with the index of the objects inside the array and the objects. And so to do that, you might go, okay, well, for I index in 0 dot dot less than superheroes dot count. And then, I'd have my index and my superhero. So my hero is equal to superheroes at index, right? And I could continue on with whatever I'm doing there. And that works. Unfortunately, sorry. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. Like if we had a string, it doesn't use a integer based index, and sometimes you need to use that. So one thing you can do is use the enumerated function. So for index hero in superheroes dot enumerated, and then we can print off hero is at index. All right, so now if we run this, should get a nice little printout of our heroes at each index. We got Iron Man at 0 all the way up to Hulk at 4, and that's great. Works great. But here's an interesting thing, and again, it goes back to the getting the right index. If we go to let's subset equal to superheroes dot drop first. All right, so this gives us now a subarray here. So I'm going to use this here. And now let's see. So now all we've done is removed Iron Man. And again, look at what we've got here. Now it says Captain America is at index 0 and Black Panther is at 1. And that is true for the subset. But what if we wanted the index in the original array? Now to do that, you can use this cool thing called the zip. So if you do zip and you do subset dot indices, and then we're going to zip that up with the subset. So that just combines the actual indices and the subset. We print them off, and it'll show us the original indices, the ones that it actually, because this is a subarray. So the subset here is a subarray of superheroes, and then it gives us the actual indices that exist in the original array. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 instead of 0 through 3. And it's a cool way to have correct access to the indices that you're really looking for. All right, bonus round. This is the last tip. Well, it's the bonus tip, and that is named loops. So let's say you had a matrix here and you wanted to find negative numbers, right? You want to find the first negative number and you want to find the location of that. So we could, just do a double for loop for row in matrix and for column in row. If a column is less than 0, here we'll do our let first negative is be a integer, and because it might not exist, we're gonna do var. Then we're gonna say, okay, well, our first negative is equal to column, right? But how do we get out of here? Well, we could break, and that'll break out of this loop. And then it's going to go to the next row, and we're going to keep continuing on. So what we really need to do is break out to the next one. So then, we could put another check here. Well, if first negative doesn't equal nil, break again, and that'll break out of that loop. Now we can print first negative number is first negative. Let's do that. So here we go. We're going to print it off, ignoring the warning, and it is our optional 6. Great, it works. But the cool thing is that you can actually name these arrays. So if we just put a name in this, so row loop and a colon, just like that. I'm going to call this a column loop. And then I want to break not the column loop. I want to break the row loop. Then I can remove that. So now if we run this, it's going to go and it's going to do the same thing. And it's a cool little way to clean up your code, again, making it more concise, making it clearer on what your intent is and what you want to accomplish with it. So there's your bonus tip. You can name your loops and you can break out, and it doesn't matter. You could have a while loop in there, and you could name it and then break out of the while loop. And it's just a cool way to get out of nested loops. Well, I hope you found these tips and hints very useful today. They are something I use all the time in my coding, and I want to hear from the comments. What are you going to do with them? How are you going to use them in your code? How are you going to use them to impress your fellow developers? Also, take a moment, like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you.